Good afternoon and welcome. I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever thought about how do you live your life today? Have you ever experienced or feeling overworked to the point that you feel unhealthy? Or have you ever felt also that you entered in some states of exhaustions or early burnout? Today we are living in a very accelerating life, so it's difficult to understand what's happening around us. We are connected with technology and we are always working under pressure. And people are using burnout as an expression for something they don't really know about. They say, last week I had a burnout for a couple of days, or last month I felt the burnout, or this is my third burnout. Or some people even say nothing, because they are too afraid to show weakness. Burnout can happen to anyone. It's part of the society today. It's become epidemic. And it can start by beginning of referring to a physiological overuse, which gradually become deteriorated. And it knows about amongst athletes, soldiers, executives, managers, medical profession, nearly anyone, which are working too hard, pushing them too hard, without enough recuperation. I have been working in this field for a long time and train executives and managers to manage stress and fatigue. And some of them we worked in a team to bring out from the zone of burnout and fatigue. I have a friend who has been a very successful businessman. He liked his company, he liked his organization, and he was always very energetic. He was a sportsman, he was healthy, he was dynamic, and he was outgoing. 5 years ago, I met him. And I couldn't even recognize him because he was a shadow of himself. And when we started working together, he could barely walk 500 meters without being exhausted. He had high blood pressure, suffered from anxiety, depression, and was always afraid. These are typical signs of burnout. And they don't come at once, they go in steps. So it doesn't come overnight. And that's why you can prevent them. So we was working as a team of experts to find out what can we do and how can we solve the problem. We realized that the problem was not just one thing. It was something that has gone on for some time. And we can start to see that when we are in too much prolonged stress and we are in some kind of a battle zone, like a puppet, this can be a first sign that we enter in something that gradually, if we don't do anything about it, becomes a norm. And this norms brings us into something we call physiological overuse. We basically started to deregulate our system. Irregular sleep, lack of energy, and overwhelm. Everything in our health becomes too much. As a continuation, if we do nothing about it, it will just degrade it even furthermore to chronic fatigue. And this chronic fatigue is really the breaking point. Because chronic fatigue is something you can reverse by doing specific things, or you let it go even further down. Because it has a direct effect on your performance. You don't concentrate very well. You deny the problems around you. You're just running your tunnel and frequently making mistakes. And often we also see that people are starting to taking drugs and drinking alcohol just to maintain it. The fourth element which we discovered was exhaustions. We are just barely able to perform our daily activities. We are not present at the spot. And sometimes we can see it in presentees. People are there, but they're not even effective at all. And this is really a panic situation. Before, when the burnout enters, the total collapse. That's why I think it's wrong to misuse burnout before, because it's alarm signals where we can reverse them. Because when a total collapse comes, then it's too late. Then it takes time. So basically, we started to look at the point, what can we do to reverse this? How can we reverse the stress symptom and the early burnout effects and bring out unhealthy performance to become healthy performance? We realize we can do it subjectively, but we need also be able to measure what state the person are in, and help the person to understand the state and what they can do to bring them back. So basically the good news is, healthy performance is also measurable, and it's something we can learn. And once we learn the steps, step by step, we can bring us back step by step up to be the person we were before. And this brought us to this application which we started to develop, which is named Talislife. And Talislife is a way of putting your health in your hands and make it sustainable. It tests you, teaches you, trains you, tracks you, and tunes you. That means it's an involved partner with you to make things changing. I said before, it's very important to be able to measure. And the measurement is something we do with the application by measuring via the camera lens of something we call heart rate variability. Because the heart rate variability is a technology that is well known, but it's also a technology to measure if you are under constant stress, constant fatigue, constant exhaustion, or if you are totally depleted. And by doing the other measurement, like we call it SDNN, is the interbeat intervals. The heart rate variability is measuring the increase of the heart rate when you are breathing in to its peaks, and the decrease when you are breathing out. The difference between the peak and the bottom is the heart rate variability. Good heart rate variability is a sense of energy and health. Poor is a risk. So in order also to find out if the autonomic nervous system, you know about the autonomic nervous system? It has two branches. One is called the sympathetic and one called the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the driving part when you are in activity, and also the flexibility to adapt to situation. We call it also, when we measure the interbeat interval, SDNM. The other part is the adaptability, is to measure, do you have energy? And what is interesting to find out, that by doing these measures over 7 days, we can establish something we call a baseline. Because just doing it one time, it gives you a shot, but we don't know in which condition you are. By doing it over 7 days, we get your results every day at the same time, together with something we call the daily living index. It's a contextual question related to where you are today. This will give us an understanding if you are in the situation of frustration, or if you are in this situation of able to apply, recover, and be ready to go. So the SDN is showing the flexibility. If the SDN is low, it's a risk of health risk. The RMSD is something used in sport, is to see if the sports people are ready to perform. And it's fundamental, because if you don't have the energy, you will not be able to perform. And what's happening if you perform? You're going to be depleted and go even further down. So by using those 3 parameters, we can detect, understand, and help the person using it what to do. And this is built into the system. So it becomes measured, it provides you feedback and solution on the spot. Does it make sense for you? Okay. We have also added another parameter, which is very, very fundamental, which is called mind-body coherence. And mind-body coherence is, if we are talking about the autonomic nervous system, we have these 2 branches. We have the sympathetic, which is where you are activated, and we have the parasympathetic, when you are in restoring, when you are in recovery. And the key here is to bring those 2 parameters together into something we call coherence. And coherence is also linked to a coherence, a synchronization of your breathing and your heart rate. So when you breathe in, you follow the heart rate improve, and when you breathe out, you follow the heart rate go down. which means that you're bringing in the autonomic nervous system in synchronization, which has a direct effect on other parameters like blood pressure, like immune system, like inner balance, like control, concentration, and so on. So these are very powerful systems, which are in our hands, and using high-tech technology, but at your hand, using your camera lens. If you have problems and you need to measure more, then there are other systems that can add on, because maybe you need the measurement continuously to understand. But this mind-body coherence is a very, very powerful way of finding out your inner fitness. The heart rate variability is the way to finding out how activated you are, and also your physiological state. So our system is built to optimize an experience, and we spend a long time of user experience to understand how do you perceive this as an end user. As a therapist, which has been my job, we have a way of working. We direct people, we support people. But here you have people sitting with the application by themselves. They need to be engaged. So basically we have built a couple of structures that is helping individuals to build stress resilience according to their needs related to the measures they do on a daily basis. Stress resilience is a way to cope better with stress. The other parameter is the mind-body coherence, which is a way to optimize your inner fitness, creating this synchronization, and to optimize your brain power. We also put in a questionnaire to find out what is your way of living. How do you live your life? We have taken 10 different health parameters, which are fundamental, and it's also been put out by WHO as being the risk factors. For example, it can be alcohol, smoke, sleep, exercise, and so on. And this gives you an awareness where I am according to my data. Finally, there are built-in training protocols with audio and video to give you an engagement. And we have seen from results that if you can engage the user to come back on a regular basis, you can also achieve very good results. And finally, you know, in sports, we build routines. I think you have a number of routines, and these routines become habits. And once they are habits, they are integrated in daily life. So we try to bring the person into a routine pattern that do the daily stress check every day for 7 minutes, get feedback and solutions, and probably integrate other elements in order to improve what they need to improve. If everything is okay, it's not a problem. So basically, you're doing your 7 days, you get your baseline, and with this baseline telling you you're great, come back in a month. And this is how it goes. But if you are in the yellow, red, or orange score, that you probably need to work on something. Otherwise, you can dip into more severe problems. And this is the preventive way of helping individuals to take charge and be much more integrated with their health. To this, we also added something we call a reporting dashboard. A reporting dashboard for yourself to understand how am I doing. And also on an anonymous way that you as an organization can use this with your people without knowing who is who. Or if you are working in therapy, you're a coach, you can use this to see how your people are doing. And this is interesting, because monitoring and give support behind is very powerful. Because if you take the person here, they do their measurement on a daily basis, and the system realizes that the person is low, we send a push to the person every week and tell him that maybe you should do some more of this and this, or engage them in certain things, which hopefully will help them to create a better action plan and put the goals in place. And then we can follow how they improve and reaching the top, and then something happening, because life is not just going like a railway, life is changing, it's constantly changing, and that's maybe where they need support. And this can the system provide and say, maybe you should go for a coach or for talk to your doctor or your pharmacist, without violating this confidentiality, because it's system support you. This is very interesting, and we see some very, very good results. And we are piloting this now with a big organization to find out what people think about it and how it works. As we know, we have the 5 different stages of early detection of risk of burnout. The first 3 I manage easily myself with the system. The number 4, when I enter into exhaustion, maybe I need some more personal training and months of coaching support. And the 5th one, with a total collapse, which I hope not to enter into, I need medical help, that's for sure. So with ExpertCare we are working, we have a network of people who can help the participants. And this is from medical support to fitness to coaching. Because having something like the application will help you, and having something also, someone who can be present and help you face to face, has a very powerful effect. And as I said in the beginning, we have identified 5 different stages of how the roadmap we will try to eliminate and not run into burnout. The first 3, the system can hopefully help the user. Number 4 is probably need of face-to-face support, but maybe very short. And number 5, we need to bring them back, and we know that takes time. And that has to be done in a professional setting. What is the secret out there in the corporate world, and I've seen it, is there's a lot of secret shadows of hidden people who needs help. They are afraid to losing their job. They are sitting there, they try to do it, they are present. Or there are executives and managers who want to show that they are the dynamic person, but sometimes there is a battery that is getting empty. By providing solutions like we have, and together with ExpertCare and many other things, we can provide solutions that putting health in the hands of people, starting them to understand and take charge, and be the captain of their own life. And if needed, give them support to overcome situations. And today we see more and more out in organizations, this is a way of promote a culture of healthy performance. And interesting in sports, we have healthy performance, otherwise we can't beat records. Because if you are overperformed, you're already tired when you are at the starting line, and you will not reach the end finish. So I think we need to change the culture a little bit, giving accurate tools that people can measure themselves, keep the data for themselves, and get encouraged if I need to step forward to get help. Because reversing early detection of burnout is possible. It's to put it into a perspective that people understand that you are at risk, but you can help you back. So finally, the key is really to get people involved, get them trained to do a regular basis, 7 minutes a day, and then gradually expand into what is needed of them. If they're already fit, they don't need much more. If they have some problem, they probably need to work on the problem. And the system provides testing, teaching, training, and tuning. Because as we evolve, we can't have the same message. We need to change. So that's part of the whole game. The application will start to become ready in a month. I mean, we have it ready, we're just testing it. And then early next year, it's ready to the market, and you can contact ExpertCare and work with ExpertCare and use this as part of your thing in your organization. If you're interested, you can also participate in piloting in your organization now, because it becomes very interesting to find how good it will act on your people. So I think I've spoken now for 28 minutes, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. And go to ExpertCare's booth, sign up, and we go organize so that you can get a test flight or a link to our application. It's not yet on the App Store. It will be there in January, but you can already start to test it now. The problem we had is with the technology of the heart rate variability and the subsection, which is called SDNN and RMSD, when you're measuring from the camera lens. You need to tune the camera lens and the focus of the camera. And that was a little bit tricky, but we are very, very close. But we can't measure something that is 15, 20, 30% off the track, which many variables out on the market is today. We need to be 97% accurate, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Because we provide feedback. We tell you what to do. We suggest you. And we worked out this feedback with experts, so it's really right to the point. So we can't say, it's raining today, but it's sunshine. It's wrong interpretation. we need to be accurate. And that's the key. And the application will be also C-classified next year as a medical device. So this is what we are doing. And it's been a passionate way of getting to where it is. It's been a long way, but very exciting. And we are even more excited now to get it out to the market and work with people, with coaches, with specialists in different fields, because it's a software. Thank you very much. Thank you.